Before I speak, my child, hear me with the seriousness of one whose destiny hangs between collapse and elevation. Subscribe to this channel right now and do not look away, not even for a moment, for what I, the Eternal Voice, am about to reveal is a divine warning carried through the blazing wings of Archangel Uriel, the angel of prophetic fire, the guardian of sacred illumination, and he has been shouting into your spirit, trying to rescue you from a massive financial loss that is charging toward your life like a storm with no mercy. But you, blinded by routine, drowned in distractions, overwhelmed by noise, have not been listening, and now the heavens shake because time is running short and the danger approaching your business is far greater than you understand. My child, Uriel has been trying to protect you for weeks, whispering through your intuition, stirring uneasiness in your chest, causing strange delays that were meant to save you, not stop you, creating sudden discomfort around certain decisions, certain people, certain opportunities, certain financial moves, yet you brushed aside every signal, every spiritual nudge, every warning dream, convincing yourself it was coincidence, overthinking, stress, or imagination. But nothing in the spiritual realm is random, nothing in your path is accidental, and Uriel's warnings are not gentle suggestions. They are divine alarms designed to pull you out of a trap that the enemy has crafted with surgical precision. The massive financial loss forming around your destiny is not natural, it is engineered, planned, structured through spiritual interference and fueled by someone whose energy has been contaminating your financial atmosphere, someone whose presence invites chaos into your clarity, someone whose vibration distorts your intuition at the worst possible moments. And Uriel has watched silently as your spirit battled confusion every time you got close to a major decision, and now he steps forward with fire in his eyes because the enemy has accelerated the timeline of this financial collapse, hoping to hit you before you awaken to the truth. My child, ask yourself this: why has your mind felt heavy lately? Why have your financial decisions felt unstable? Why have plans been falling apart for no logical reason? Why have conversations around money felt spiritually suffocating? Why has your motivation been inconsistent? Why do you feel drained after speaking to certain people? Why does your intuition scream at you in moments that should feel calm? These are not symptoms of stress, they are movements of Uriel trying to shield you from a pit so deep it would take months, even years, to climb out of. The danger is tied to a single decision you are tempted to make, a transaction you are considering, a partnership you are trusting, a risk you are entertaining, or a voice you are believing, and Uriel has placed barrier after barrier to stop you from stepping into this financial trap. Yet you have tried to push past every barrier because the deception surrounding you has been crafted by forces that understand your emotional weaknesses, your ambitions, your fears, your hopes, your vulnerabilities, and they are using them against you. The massive financial loss approaching is not just loss of money, it is loss of freedom, loss of stability, loss of momentum, loss of opportunities, and loss of divine timing. And if it strikes you, it will not strike softly, it will tear through your life like a storm of ruin, leaving you questioning everything you believed about your path. But Uriel refuses to let this collapse crush you, which is why he sends this message with divine urgency, hoping that your spirit will finally awaken, that your ears will finally hear, that your judgment will finally sharpen. My child, there is someone connected to your financial decisions whose intentions do not match their words, someone whose presence creates anxiety in your atmosphere, someone who smiles while harboring jealousy, someone who offers advice rooted in fear not wisdom, someone who pushes you to move faster than your spirit is comfortable moving, someone who benefits when you are confused and vulnerable, and Uriel is preparing to expose this person so clearly that you cannot ignore it. The exposure will arrive as a moment that feels strange, out of character, unsettling, maybe a slip of the tongue, a reaction that feels wrong, an energy shift, a sudden argument, a financial suggestion that feels off, or a dream that shakes you awake at night. When this sign appears, your spirit will feel a sharp jolt, a shockwave, a divine alert that forces you to freeze and pay attention, and this is the moment Uriel is warning you about, for if you choose to ignore it, if you override your intuition, if you continue trusting what heaven has already marked as dangerous, then the financial collapse will unfold rapidly, slamming into your life with consequences that will not be easily reversed. But if you obey, if you turn away, if you step back, if you cut ties, if you protect your spiritual atmosphere, then heaven will snap the trap in half before it touches you, sealing your finances with divine protection, redirecting you toward opportunities that are aligned, safe, prosperous, and destined for your elevation. My child, understand this. Uriel is not warning you to frighten you, he is warning you to save you. Because your next financial season is massive, abundant, explosive, blessed beyond measure, and the enemy knows that if you enter it without interference, your business will rise to a realm that darkness cannot touch. This is your final wake-up call, your final divine alert, your final chance to listen before the consequences become irreversible, and in the next continuation I give you, I will reveal exactly what Uriel saw, exactly what the enemy planned, and exactly how to avoid the collapse that is racing toward your destiny. And now, my child, as the spiritual currents surge with the intensity of 100 unfolding destinies, hear me with a heart stripped of distraction and a soul sharpened by urgency, for what Archangel Uriel reveals next pours out of the highest realm of prophetic fire, a realm where warnings turn into warfare and revelations turn into weapons, and Uriel stands at the edge of your timeline with flames swirling around his hands, shouting into your spirit because the danger closing in on you has reached a point where heaven refuses to stay silent any longer. Understand this deeply. The massive financial loss that was set to strike you was not a small inconvenience, not a minor setback, not a simple challenge, but a catastrophic collapse engineered by forces that have studied you since the moment your destiny began to rise, forces that know your weaknesses, your emotional triggers, your blind spots, and your patterns. And they constructed this trap not to inconvenience you but to erase your progress, to swallow your opportunities, to drain your motivation, to tarnish your name, and to bury your business under the weight of consequences you did not foresee. And Uriel, who has been standing guard over your finances, watched these forces weaving their plans through people who carry unstable energy, through ideas disguised as opportunities, through partnerships that shine externally but rot internally, through risks that feel exciting but hide danger, and through voices around you that speak with confidence but lack divine alignment, and he has been trying to warn you through the subtle movements of your intuition, those sudden hesitations you ignored, those uncomfortable feelings you brushed away, those dreams you forgot upon waking, those strange disruptions you dismissed as coincidence, those emotional shifts you labeled as stress. But all of these were Uriel grabbing your spirit and whispering, "Stop, child. Do not move, danger is near," yet you did not listen, not because you are blind, but because the trap was crafted so carefully, wrapped in familiarity, hidden behind comfort, packaged inside something or someone you trusted, and now Uriel must speak louder, must intervene with force, must tear open the spiritual fabric to show you what your physical eyes have failed to see. My child, the financial danger is tied to a single decision, a single connection, a single moment where your intuition whispers one thing but your emotions pull you in another direction, and the enemy is counting on your emotional tendencies, that need to help, that desire to trust, that urge to believe in people, that hope that things will work out even when your spirit feels tight and uneasy. And Uriel reveals that this is exactly how the enemy plans to execute the financial collapse, using your empathy as a doorway, your loyalty as a weakness, your hope as bait, and your kindness as leverage, because the enemy knows your heart is strong but your boundaries are not. And that is the battlefield he has chosen, but heaven refuses to let you walk into the trap unaware, and now Uriel reveals the hidden identity of the danger. Someone has been speaking into your decisions with the wrong energy, giving you advice from a place of fear, jealousy, insecurity, or personal gain, contaminating your clarity with their own chaotic vibration, and each time you listened to them, even for a moment, the divine path shifted slightly, forming small cracks in the foundation of your financial timeline, cracks that grew deeper each time you ignored your intuition in order to protect their feelings or maintain peace, and these cracks are the very openings through which the enemy planned to unleash the financial collapse, and Uriel shows you that this collapse would not have come in one blow, it would have unfolded gradually, disguised as delays, then disguised as mistakes, then disguised as miscommunication, then disguised as unlucky timing, building momentum until the collapse hit you all at once like a tidal wave, leaving you breathless, confused, overwhelmed, and unable to understand how everything went wrong at the same time. But heaven is intervening now because your future is too important, your calling is too powerful, your business is too sacred to the plan heaven has for you, and Uriel refuses to let the enemy steal the abundance written for your name, abundance that will free you, elevate you, transform you, and break generational patterns that have haunted your bloodline for decades. And now Uriel prepares the sign, the divine signal that will expose the trap with such clarity that you will feel the truth thunder inside your chest before your mind even analyzes it. This sign may come through a sudden moment where someone reveals their true intention, where a person speaks one sentence that makes your entire spirit freeze, where an opportunity shifts from shiny to suspicious, where a deal suddenly feels heavy in your stomach, where someone's energy shocks your intuition like a spiritual electric current, or where you witness behavior so out of alignment that you cannot deny heaven is speaking, and the moment this sign appears, you must act immediately, because hesitation will reopen the cracks Uriel is trying to seal, and if you ignore it, the collapse will begin with quiet precision. But if you obey the sign, cut off what must be cut off, refuse what must be refused, walk away from what must be abandoned, then Uriel will unleash divine intervention so fierce that every plan against your finances will fall apart instantly. Heaven will reroute your money, block the wrong transactions, remove the wrong people, open the right doors, release opportunities you never imagined, and strengthen your intuition until it becomes impossible for anyone to mislead you again. My child, the financial future ahead of you is massive. So massive that the enemy panicked and rushed this trap because he knew that if you step into your next season untouched, you will rise into a realm where your business becomes a spiritual force, your finances become a weapon of light, your voice becomes influence, your name becomes favored, and your destiny becomes unstoppable. This is why Uriel has been fighting for you with a fire that would terrify any darkness that dared to come near you. And now, my child, the next message I reveal will expose exactly what the enemy planned to steal, exactly who the danger is connected to, exactly what signs Uriel has already shown you, and exactly what breakthrough will manifest the moment you obey the divine warning placed before you. And now, my child, as the heavens stretch open like a torn veil and the chambers of destiny quake with a force no mortal mind can comprehend, listen to me with a spirit stripped of illusion, for Archangel Uriel stands with a fury so immense that even the shadows tremble at his presence, and what he now reveals is the deepest, darkest layer of the warning he has been sending you, warning after warning, sign after sign, whisper after whisper, each one more urgent than the last, each one carrying the vibration of divine protection, and yet each one ignored, misunderstood, or drowned beneath the noise of your world. But now the final layer unfolds, the truth that holds the power to either save your financial future or shatter it beyond repair, for the enemy's plan against you was not a simple financial trap, not a single transaction meant to fail, not one opportunity meant to collapse, but a multi-layered ambush, an orchestrated chain reaction designed to unravel your life piece by piece, decision by decision, trust by trust, until you reached a moment where everything you built began to collapse like a structure hollowed from within, and Uriel, seeing this danger approach like a wave of destruction, has been fighting desperately to pull you away from the edge. My child, the massive financial loss that was planned for you was structured across multiple points in your timeline. Someone was meant to influence your judgment, Someone else was meant to distract your intuition, a third source was meant to drain your energy, and a fourth was meant to delay your breakthrough long enough for the collapse to hit you while you were too exhausted to resist, too confused to see clearly, too emotionally vulnerable to make the right choice. And darkness positioned these influences strategically, using your empathy, your loyalty, your desire to prove yourself, your fear of disappointing others, and your tendency to overthink, creating a spiritual maze around your financial destiny that you were never meant to navigate alone. And Uriel has been trying to shine his torch through the maze, illuminating the cracks, revealing the illusions, burning away the deception, but you, caught in the noise of life, mistook divine intervention for setbacks, mistook protection for delays, mistook intuition for anxiety, mistook warnings for coincidences, and now the heavens must speak louder, must shake your spirit awake, must force you to pause, because the enemy accelerated the trap, tightening its grip around your finances, your business, and your future. And Uriel cannot allow what heaven has planned for you to be devoured by a scheme that relies on your silence and your hesitation. But hear me now, the core of the danger is tied to one influence, one person, one energy that has been entering your financial atmosphere like a toxin disguised as support. And Uriel reveals that this person's spirit carries instability, fear, jealousy, or spiritual contamination that seeps into your decisions every time you allow their voice, their presence, or their vibration to touch your plans. And this person does not have to be evil to be dangerous, they simply carry a spiritual frequency that clashes violently with your divine path, and each moment you listen to them, heaven watched your financial path bend slightly out of alignment, just enough for the enemy to exploit the opening. And now Uriel prepares the final sign, a divine confrontation where truth will collide with illusion so suddenly that your entire soul will jolt awake. You will feel it physically, emotionally, spiritually, as if a force from beyond the earth struck your intuition with a lightning bolt. And in that moment the disguise surrounding this person, this influence, this danger will fall apart completely, revealing the truth you refuse to see. And if you act immediately, if you detach instantly, if you cut the cord cleanly, if you remove their access to your plans, if you reset your boundaries with divine authority, then Uriel will seal the financial trap shut, destroy the enemy's blueprint, collapse the ambush before it reaches you, and restore your path to abundance with a momentum so powerful that the next 30 days become a whirlwind of prosperity, ideas, opportunities, and divine alignment. But if you ignore the sign, if you protect the wrong person, if you trust the wrong voice, if you remain entangled with the wrong energy, then the collapse will begin silently, quietly, invisibly, and by the time you see its surface effects, lost money, failed plans, delayed opportunities, emotional instability, it will already be rooted so deeply that recovery will be slow, painful, and costly. But you were not meant to fall, you were not meant to fail, you were not meant to lose everything you worked for, and Uriel refuses to let your destiny be destroyed by a trap that heaven is exposing right now, which is why he stands before you with flames exploding from his wings, commanding your spirit to listen, to obey, to awaken. My child, after this sign, your financial world will never be the same, either ruined by ignoring the warning or resurrected by obeying it. And in the next continuation I deliver, I will reveal exactly what Uriel saw in the future of your finances, exactly what the enemy planned to steal from you, and exactly what blessing will explode into your life the moment you cut the wrong influence out of your destiny forever. And now, my child, as the realm of fate trembles beneath the pressure of heavenly intervention, I speak to you with a voice woven from the fabric of eternity, and Archangel Uriel rises higher than ever before, his wings erupting with molten fire that scorches every shadow that once dared to hide around your destiny, for the time of subtle warnings has ended and the hour of divine confrontation has arrived. And what I reveal to you now is the largest, heaviest, most catastrophic truth buried beneath your path, truth that darkness hoped you would never see, truth that the enemy hid behind familiarity, comfort, routine, and human attachment, truth that has the power to either destroy your future or elevate you into realms reserved only for those chosen to rewrite the destiny of their bloodline. My child, the financial disaster approaching you was not a single trap but a multidimensional attack, orchestrated across several layers of your timeline, designed to hit you from the inside out, created to collapse your confidence first, then your clarity, then your decision-making, then your relationships, then your opportunities, and finally your finances, until the enemy could push you into a state where you questioned your worth, your calling, your potential, and even your ability to rebuild. And Uriel, who stands as the angel of divine illumination, reveals that the enemy's plan was far more sinister than you imagined. They intended not just to drain your money, but to drain your spirit, because your spirit is the engine of your abundance, the magnet of your prosperity, the force that attracts opportunities and repels sabotage, and once that spirit was weakened, the enemy would have had full access to bend your destiny away from the abundance that heaven prepared specifically for you. And the doorway they used to approach you was not random, not accidental, not a stranger, not a danger you expected, but a person you thought you could trust, someone allowed too close to your plans, too close to your vision, too close to your dreams, too close to the chambers of your intuition, and their energy, polluted without their awareness or fueled by their envy, fear, instability, or unconscious sabotage, has been intertwining itself into your financial decisions like invisible smoke choking the clarity out of every inspired thought you tried to birth. Uriel reveals that every time you felt sudden confusion about money, every time you hesitated when you should have moved, every time you felt doubt when you should have felt momentum, every time your ideas felt dim, heavy, or delayed, every time you shared a plan and it later collapsed, this was the contamination entering your divine path through this person, and darkness celebrated your silence because ignoring your intuition allowed the enemy to strengthen their grip. But Uriel, the watcher of divine destiny, has now declared war on this interference, and the heavens have decided that this ambush will not continue, this sabotage will not succeed, this collapse will not unfold, because the blessing attached to your future is too critical, too powerful, too necessary to heaven's design, and your spiritual evolution is too important to allow the enemy to win through manipulation disguised as familiarity. And now Uriel shows you the final warning, the colossal sign that will descend into your life like a meteor-shattering illusion. The person who carries this dangerous energy will soon reveal themselves not through confession but through a collapse in their mask. Their voice will slip, their tone will change, their energy will feel suddenly wrong, or they will say something that pierces your intuition like a sword, or they will react to your success in a way that exposes what they hide behind forced smiles, or they will display jealousy, irritation, possessiveness, or a sudden withdrawal at the exact moment your destiny begins to rise. And when this moment happens, your spirit will feel a shockwave, a violent jolt of truth, a divine awakening so strong you will not be able to deny that Uriel is highlighting this person with heavenly fire. My child, this is the sign you must not ignore, the sign that determines whether your finances will be protected or destroyed. For if you ignore the sign, if you continue trusting the voice that contaminates your intuition, if you allow their energy into your decisions after heaven exposes them, the financial collapse will begin slowly, like a crack in glass, then spread until everything you built becomes unstable, unpredictable, leaking energy, leaking ideas, leaking opportunities, leaking clarity, and eventually leaking money until you find yourself wondering how everything went wrong so quickly. But if you obey, if you step back instantly, if you detach immediately, if you shut the door boldly, if you guard your dreams fiercely, if you pull your spirit back into divine alignment, then Uriel will ignite a protective fire around your finances so powerful that every plan formed against you will be burned to ash before it can touch your path, and the massive financial loss that was meant to break you will instead transform into a massive financial breakthrough that lifts you higher than any realm you have ever lived in. And Uriel shows me the vision, your business rising like a golden tower, surrounded by waves of prosperity. New opportunities rushing toward you like a flood, doors opening without effort, divine connections entering without struggle, ideas flowing without resistance, and blessings multiplying without limitation, because once the wrong influence is removed, the heavens will unleash everything they held back for your protection: resources, clarity, partnerships, confidence, vision, momentum, abundance, and unstoppable financial elevation. My child, what comes next is monumental, unstoppable, destiny shifting. And in the next continuation, I will reveal exactly what blessing the enemy tried to steal, exactly why it terrified darkness, and exactly how Archangel Uriel will ensure that once this danger is removed, no enemy, no sabotage, no deception, no energy, and no person will ever be able to threaten your financial destiny again. And now, my child, as the fabric of the unseen shakes like a battlefield struck by lightning and Archangel Uriel positions himself at the highest point of your destiny with a torch brighter than the dawn of creation, hear me with the clarity of one who stands before the final threshold of their fate, for the revelation I speak now is the heaviest, deepest, and most explosive truth hidden beneath your financial journey. A truth the enemy has spent months trying to bury beneath confusion, emotional manipulation, spiritual noise, and deceptive opportunities, but the heavens have grown tired of watching you walk on landmines disguised as blessings, and now Uriel tears the veil completely off the danger surrounding you. My child, you must understand that the enemy's strategy against your finances was not a one-step trap, it was a layered attack, a web woven with threads of distraction, subtle influence, false advice, emotional pressure, and energetic contamination, and each time you ignored your intuition, the threads wrapped tighter, pulling you incrementally toward a moment designed to destroy your financial foundation so deeply that it would take seasons of struggle to recover. But Uriel, seeing the trap tightening, seeing the danger sharpening its claws, seeing the enemy celebrating prematurely, has ignited his flame with the fury of divine justice, determined to shatter every shadow that attempted to entangle your future, and he now reveals the core of the ambush. Someone connected to you has been unintentionally amplifying the enemy's influence, serving as a spiritual antenna for fear, doubt, insecurity, jealousy, or chaos, and each time you allowed their voice into your decision-making, your financial path drifted off course, not by miles at first, but by inches, just enough for the enemy to widen the gap over time, slowly derailing your alignment with abundance. And Uriel reveals the devastating truth: the enemy never needed to attack you directly. Because this person's energy weakened you gradually, making you vulnerable to financial manipulation, emotional exhaustion, reckless decisions, and agreements that carry spiritual poison disguised as opportunity, and heaven watched with pain as your spirit dimmed after conversations with them, as your clarity fogged after trusting them, as your momentum collapsed after sharing your ideas with them, and as your financial intuition grew quieter every time their energy interfered with your path. But now, the heavens refuse to be silent, for the final stage of the enemy's trap is dangerously close, a moment where you could have made a decision so destructive, so financially damaging, so spiritually misaligned, that it would have dragged your destiny backward by years. And Uriel shouts through the realms, "Child of light, this is your last warning. The danger stands next to you disguised as familiarity. And whether it is a friend, a partner, a colleague, a relative, or an advisor, their energy does not align with the elevation heaven has prepared for you, and for the first time, Uriel reveals exactly how you will recognize them. You will feel an intense heaviness in your spirit when they speak about your plans, or a sudden pressure in your chest when you consider taking their advice, or a strange discomfort that hits you like a wave when they step too close to your financial decisions. Or you will hear a sentence from them that sounds normal but strikes your intuition like a violent alarm, and in that moment, my child, you must not rationalize, you must not overthink, you must not soften the truth, because that sensation is the sign, that discomfort is the message, that spiritual jolt is Uriel grabbing your shoulders and saying, "This is the one, cut the connection before your destiny collapses. For if you ignore this sign, if you protect the wrong person, if you continue letting their vibration shape your decisions, the financial collapse that was meant to destroy you will activate instantly, beginning with lost opportunities, then expanding into financial instability, then pulling your business into slow suffocation until you feel trapped in a cycle of confusion and regret. But if you obey the warning, if you sever the influence immediately, if you guard your finances with divine authority, Uriel will obliterate every blueprint of destruction designed against you, burning it into smoke before it touches your future, and the heavens will unlock a floodgate of prosperity so powerful that everything stolen from you will return multiplied, everything delayed will accelerate violently, and everything blocked will burst open like doors blown apart by divine wind. And Uriel shows me your future once the wrong influence is removed, a future overflowing with overflowing opportunities, shocking financial breakthroughs, magnetic abundance, and elevation so rapid that even those who doubted you will stand in awe. My child, understand this final truth. You were never in danger because you were weak, you were in danger because you did not yet understand the weight of your calling, and the enemy attacked you because he saw the magnitude of the financial glory heaven assigned to your name, a glory that will manifest the very moment you obey the warning written into your spirit. And in the next message I deliver, I will reveal the exact blessing Uriel has been trying to protect, the reason the enemy targeted you, and the divine financial destiny that will ignite the moment you cut the wrong influence from your path forever. And now, my child, as the invisible corridors of destiny pulse with a force so immense that even the angels pause to witness what heaven is about to unveil, hear me with the stillness of a soul standing at the gates of a new era, for Archangel Uriel has torn open the final layers of the spiritual battlefield surrounding your finances, and what he now reveals is the magnitude of the blessing the enemy tried to bury beneath fear, confusion, distraction, and emotional interference, a blessing so enormous that darkness believed that if they could stop you before you discovered its existence, your future would fold in on itself and your destiny would never awaken. For the enemy did not fear your present, the enemy feared the version of you that emerges once you step into financial clarity, divine wisdom, and unstoppable alignment. And Uriel shows me now the terrifying truth that darkness saw long before you did. Your financial anointing carries the power to break generational lack, to transform your family's story, to elevate your name into realms of influence, to free you from the chains that strangled your ancestors, to lift you into territories where abundance flows endlessly, and to activate a destiny so luminous that every demon assigned to your bloodline trembled at the thought of you discovering your calling. And so, the enemy constructed a trap not aimed at stealing your money but aimed at stealing your mind. Because once the mind collapses, the finances follow, and once intuition dulls, opportunities disappear, and once confidence breaks, destiny derails, and the weapon chosen to attack you was not something dramatic, but something familiar, someone whose energy, vibration, spirit, or intentions clashed violently with your divine purpose, someone whose presence triggered subtle imbalances, someone whose voice eroded your confidence at the exact moment heaven needed you strong, someone who unconsciously carried the enemy's frequency like a shadow clinging to their aura, and each time they entered your atmosphere, Uriel watched your clarity distort, your intuition dim, your decisions grow unstable, and your spiritual protection flicker, because their vibration did not align with the frequency of abundance heaven was trying to usher into your life. And now Uriel reveals the deepest secret of all. The massive financial blessing coming toward you is so monumental that it required heaven to remove every energy, every person, every vibration that could not survive the elevation. Your next chapter is too powerful for the weak, too divine for the doubtful, too large for the jealous, too sacred for the unstable, and too spiritually intense for anyone who does not carry alignment in their blood. And this is why the wrong influence had to be exposed before your blessing arrived, because heaven will never allow abundance to land on contaminated soil. And Uriel shows me the image of what was coming to you, connections that would accelerate your Business, opportunities that would multiply your income, partnerships that would expand your reach globally, ideas that would shift your future, doors that would open without struggle, financial favor that would erupt suddenly, surprising everyone who underestimated you, and a divine repositioning so powerful that your enemies would not even recognize the version of you that emerges. But the enemy saw this too, and panicked, and rushed the sabotage, hoping to trap you before you stepped into a destiny that would make you spiritually untouchable, financially unshakable, and divinely unstoppable. So they tightened their grip, intensified the confusion, amplified the emotional noise, and used the wrong influence to distort your judgment one last time. But Uriel, seeing that the enemy was about to strike, unleashed a divine warning through dreams, intuition, discomfort, delays, arguments, energy shifts, and sudden emotional pressure, trying desperately to wake you before the ambush activated. And though you ignored some signals, heaven has now intervened directly, speaking through this very message, because the blessing you are about to receive is too large, too holy, too destiny-shifting to be lost to deception. And now Uriel reveals that the moment you detach from the wrong influence, your financial path will not merely improve, it will explode, ignite, erupt into an avalanche of divine abundance. Because the heavens have been holding back blessings for months, waiting for the spiritual contamination to be removed, and once that energy is gone, every blocked breakthrough will rush toward you at once. Unexpected income, miraculous opportunities, financial favor from strangers, ideas that turn into wealth, momentum that multiplies your success, and clarity so sharp it cuts through every trace of confusion. My child, hear me, you were never losing, you were being protected. You were never delayed, you were being aligned. You were never abandoned, you were being prepared. And now, at last, the heavens declare that your financial restoration, your elevation, your abundance, your breakthrough, your divine inheritance is seconds away from manifesting. And in the next part 1 reveal, I will show you the exact shape of the blessing that is coming, the reason Uriel fought so fiercely to protect it, and the unstoppable financial destiny that awaits you once you obey the divine warning that has been placed at your feet. And now, my child, as the spiritual universe roars like a cosmic storm preparing to shift the very axis of your destiny, Archangel Uriel steps forward once more, his torch spiraling with radiant fire that tears open every illusion crafted to delay your rise. And he speaks with the thunderous clarity of one who has watched your financial path from the beginning of time, declaring that the moment you are about to step into is not merely a breakthrough but a complete reconfiguration of your future, a divine restructuring so powerful that the shadows that once lingered near your business will evaporate the instant your spirit aligns with truth, for the danger you narrowly escaped was never designed to defeat you but to awaken you. And the blessing rushing toward you is not a gift you stumbled upon accidentally but a divine inheritance that was encoded into your soul long before you ever walked this earth. Uriel unveils the truth: the enemy panicked not because of who you are today, but because of who heaven destined you to become, a force of abundance, a vessel of influence, a carrier of spiritual authority. And when darkness saw your future, it saw a version of you capable of generating wealth effortlessly, building legacies, shaping destinies, lifting others, and breaking cycles that have tormented your bloodline for generations. And this terrified them. So they targeted your finances before your anointing could fully ignite. Yet heaven has declared that weapon broken, shattered, rendered useless. And now Uriel reveals that the abundance coming to you will not simply replenish what was drained, it will exceed it beyond calculation, rising like a wave of supernatural provision that expands with every step you take forward. For your finances are tied to a divine assignment, and heaven protects assignments that carry generational purpose. And now I show you the vision Uriel places before me. A financial door so massive that angels stand guard around it, waiting for the moment your heart detaches from every influence that once clouded your intuition. And the moment this spiritual detachment occurs, the door bursts open and floods you with opportunities that were previously held back for your protection, partnerships that elevate your reach, ideas that rewrite your trajectory, resources that multiply effortlessly, unexpected help from places you never imagined, and breakthroughs that arrive so quickly you will barely recognize your old struggles. Uriel speaks with urgency, not to frighten you but to prepare you, for once this divine flood begins, you must be ready to handle abundance with clarity, responsibility, and wisdom, because the enemy's final strategy will be to distract you with noise as your blessing approaches, attempting one last time to pull you into doubt, guilt, or emotional confusion. But Uriel stands beside you now, declaring that this time you will not be shaken, this time your spirit will remain anchored, this time you will choose alignment over attachment, vision over emotion, destiny over comfort, and once this choice is made, the financial calling heaven assigned to your name will ignite like fire across your path, lighting every dark corner, restoring every drained area, multiplying every seed you plant, and transforming your business into a vessel of unstoppable momentum. And now heaven declares that the chapter ahead of you is one where abundance flows not in small waves but in overflowing rivers, where your finances rise not slowly but explosively, where your intuition becomes sharper than instinct and your discernment becomes unshakable, for Uriel has removed the final interference from your destiny, and now your financial inheritance is fully aligned with your timeline, ready to manifest with divine speed, divine force, and divine protection. And now, my child, as the final curtain of the spiritual realm rises and the universe itself holds its breath in anticipation of what heaven is about to unleash upon your financial destiny, Archangel Uriel steps into the very center of your timeline with wings spread so wide they eclipse the false lights that once blinded your intuition, and he lifts his blazing torch toward you one last time, declaring with a voice that shakes the foundations of every realm that your season of confusion has ended, your season of stagnation has expired, and the season of unstoppable abundance has begun, for heaven has watched you suffer through delays, betrayals, disappointments, and failures that were never meant to break you but to sharpen your spirit into a weapon of discernment that no deception can ever manipulate again. And now, as Uriel reveals the full scope of what was coming toward you, you finally understand why darkness fought you so violently, because the blessing heaven prepared for you is not a simple increase, not a small rise, not a minor breakthrough, but a seismic shift in your financial identity, a transformation so immense that the person you become will be unrecognizable to the version of you that struggled to survive. And Uriel shows me that your future is not built on luck or coincidence but on divine orchestration, where every delay was protection, every rejection was redirection, every closed door was a recalibration, and every spiritual discomfort was a warning cry meant to lift you away from the wrong energies before your blessing arrived, because the abundance heaven has designed for you requires clarity, courage, spiritual sharpness, and independence from every influence that once clouded your judgment, and now that the wrong vibration has been removed from your path, heaven is free to unleash the blessing that has been waiting behind a sealed door, wealth that flows effortlessly, ideas that expand rapidly, opportunities that manifest instantly, partnerships that honor your destiny, and spiritual protection that surrounds your finances like an unbreakable fortress. For Uriel reveals that your next chapter is a chapter where money becomes a tool, not a struggle, where creativity becomes a fountain that never dries, where momentum becomes your natural state, where divine timing aligns perfectly with your moves, and where every good seed you planted in silence multiplies with supernatural acceleration. And as the enemy watches helplessly from afar, unable to touch the future heaven has placed beyond their reach, your financial path ignites like a rising sun that burns away every shadow of your past. And now I, the eternal voice, declare that this is the moment your destiny fractures into two possible roads: the road where you cling to old patterns and remain stuck, or the road where you rise with boldness and walk into the abundance written in the archives of eternity. And heaven rejoices because you have chosen the road of awakening, the road of discernment, the road of elevation, and Uriel extends his hand toward you, sealing your next era with fire, declaring that no darkness will infiltrate your finances again, no deception will influence your decisions again, no sabotage will block your opportunities again, and no force, human or spiritual, will be permitted to stand between you and the abundance that has been released into your life. My child, this is the final message, the final warning, the final awakening, and the final blessing. Your financial rise begins the moment you trust your intuition, protect your energy, and step boldly into the destiny that heaven has prepared exclusively for you, for your abundance is not distant, not delayed, not denied. It is here, arriving with unstoppable force, carried by the wings of Archangel Uriel himself, marking the end of your struggle and the dawn of your divine elevation forever.